Hi, Darren Levine, MediaHail.com, introducing to you a new follow focus unit on the market, the RJ follow focus, fresh from China. Now, this unit comes in at under $150 shipped, which is really, really cheap and puts it in line with a lot of the other follow focus units. It's even a few dollars cheaper than many of them. And it is absolutely fantastic. I just literally got in the mail, played around with it for about a half an hour, and just want to share my thoughts with you. And as you can see, as I'm playing with it, usually the first question is does it have backlash? Of course it should, because it's cheap, but how bad is it? Well, as you can see, I can wiggle it about that much. Not much at all. And it's not even a very open wiggle feel. It's a very tight wiggle, if that makes any sense. It's not really just like you could literally just shake it. You actually, as you can see, just rubbing against there, it's not moving. You know, the backlash is kind of a little more controlled than some of the other units. And it, you know, it's nice. I like it. Another comparable unit in the price range, I think, is this is the my friend lent me the Indie System follow focus unit, and as you can see, the RJ is a full-size follow focus unit. It's not, you know, scaled down for DSLR, and you know, I like that. I like having a nice big control knob on my follow focus unit, even if I'm shooting on a DSLR. I like that size. I'm not really a fan of the smaller size ones, and the backlash on this one, for comparative sake, if I hold the gear for you here, as you can see, if I do the same test, I can easily rub it back and forth, and it's going to go because it's a very loose backlash. Whereas this, I'm doing the same thing, and it's not moving. There is backlash, but it's not nearly as open as some of these other typical units are. Yeah, one other nice little interesting feature, by the way, I mean, they did make the rail mounts a little loose, but you know, a little loose is always better than a little too tight. It does clamp down as much as you need to. Obviously, you can see it's very open-ended here. It's a one-piece clamp, so this clamp controls the in and out and the rail mount. As you can see, one of the great features they added to this is that, say you have a lens that's too short, that, you know, obviously this can't be any shorter of a lens if you're trying to mount it like that. Well, they just said, okay, let's put the bearings all the way through and allow them to just go ahead and snap it into the other side. And now you can get, you know, farther than, like literally like almost right up to the mount. As you can see, I'm right up against where the 4/3 mount is. This is a Nikon mount, but many mounts have about this thickness in them. So you can literally get a pancake lens actually on this thing and have no problem. One little thing I did notice though, which is kind of strange, is that there's more backlash when you have it mounted on the inner side than the outer side, which is a little odd. And the reason I think is because actually, as you can see, there's a little channel there, and what happens is through there's a little bar. So this clips into the bar, and it uses, you know, some of the friction from the outside, but the bar helps it to make sure that it rotates properly. And I guess there's just a little bit of play on one side versus the other. It's not a huge amount of play, but just a little more I wanted to mention. And I'm sure, you know, in the future they can always, you know, modify this a little bit and send you a new one in the mail for a few bucks. So it's nice that, you know, it's not the unit that has any issues with it. Like a little part here, you know, maybe you can tighten it up, or you can put a little shim on if you really care to. As you can see, they got bearing over here, bearing over here, bearing over here. Nice bearings. It feels nice and smooth. It does not feel clunky at all. It does not feel like a $150 follow focus unit. It feels like more, in my opinion. Most of it's metal, very nice metal. I think the knurl knob might be plastic, but even if it is, it feels nice. Some people did ask about the accessory port. It looks like it's standard size, although the manufacturer did mention that they think it might be a little too big. But again, I'm always a fan of too big versus too small. That's what somebody said. Because you can always shim it. You know, just put a little shim in there and you'll be fine. Also, I mean, I noticed that it looks like just a few screws and this thing will come out. So again, you can always maybe ask for them for a replacement if they ever come out with one. So it's nice that, you know, the important part, you know, the gearbox is nice. It's solid. Like if I just hold that there, there's almost no play in it, which is phenomenal for this size unit. So I have yet to use it on a shoot, but I'm looking forward to it. I have a shoot in about a week that I can't wait to use this on. Hopefully my AC appreciates it as well. There are no hard stops. It's a basic unit. It doesn't even have any height adjustment, but you know what? I mean, honestly, if your lens is going too high, I probably should put the little gear back in. I don't know what kind of rig you might be using, but for most rigs, I mean, look how Yep, there's still about a whole inch higher that this could go, and this would still work. Obviously, it might hit some stuff, but you'd have to have a really high rig for this unit to not work on it. So I'd say it'll work for most situations. And yeah, like I said, there's no hard stop. You do have a nice marking disc. It does look to be proper dry erase material. Actually, I did notice that if you did want to put in hard stops, I think that you could DIY. You could get these little screws there holding the knob on. I think you can very easily put in a little bit of wire, a little something there that can, move and become your hard stop if you really wanted to. But I'm not too much of a fan of hard stops. I like just the visual reference. But again, you could DIY if you like to. And overall, yeah, I am impressed. Oh, another thing is that for $15 each, it comes with one, but you can add as many as you want for $15. I guess you would call these sort of a zip tie, or just rather an adjustable, non-permanent focus gear. Basically, there's just a little thing that goes in there, and you can adjust it for different lenses. I noticed with this lens, probably would have to trim it a bit. They give you a pretty generous amount, so I don't think there's any lens that wouldn't fit with any of these. It's a pretty good material. I have not tried the half-inch rail zip ties, but these feel like they're pretty good. The little thing that's actually clamping down on them, I don't know if those will eventually mark them. It doesn't look like they are. I've tried pressing it, pretty good amount, but you don't really need to tighten it that much because they've got a texture in here that'll lock into place and hold it pretty nicely. So I mean, these seem pretty nice too, and I think I'll like them. But I guess only time will tell to see how much I like them. But overall, I mean, the unit itself, I'd love to call it the new king of the inexpensive follow focus units, but I can't because I haven't used all the units that are out there today. I know there's a couple that are in about the $150 range, another whole bunch in the $300 range. All I can say is that this feels like a lot more than $150. So that is my my final word on this. And yeah, it is called the RJ Follow Focus. I believe they're only selling on eBay at the moment. But if you just search for Follow Focus, it should come up. But I'll have a link here for you guys to check it out. I know that their original order, I think I'm the first one to get this in the mail, like over 100 people pre-ordered this, and they worked hard to get it out there, and they didn't expect to get that many orders. So they're probably still hard at work getting these out there. And yeah, so that is the RJ Follow Focus, brought to you by this guy from MediaHail.com, and happy shooting. And if you haven't done so yet, check out MediaHail.com. You can put up a free profile of who you are, where you're located, what equipment